Welcome back. As you can see, we have tidbit trays here, so we are still on our tidbit tray project. And this is because even though we now know how to make tidbit trays, packing and shipping is becoming an issue once we make them and sell them. So that's what we are going to get into today. And we'll get into it back. Okay, we are back, and before we get into this, English as She Is Spoke by Senor de Fonseca and Senor Carolino, two 19th century Portuguese gentlemen. And for those of you who haven't heard the backstory already, they were from Portugal. They did not speak any English. They did not even have an English-Portuguese dictionary available to them. They were working from an English-French dictionary and a French-Portuguese dictionary, and they provided this very handy little guidebook for their countrymen who would be traveling abroad to English-speaking lands. Now, they have many, many phrases and conversations, but I thought today we might want to take a look at anecdotes, because there's a small section in the back that is full of cute and charming little anecdotes that you can tell your new American friends so they will consider you witty and erudite. So let's start with this one. This is an anecdote about a blind. Therefore, you have to know it caught my attention. At the middle of a night very dark, a blind was walk in the streets with a light on the hand and a full jar upon the back. Someone which ran do meet him, and surprised of that light. Simple that you are, told him, what serve you this light? The night and the day, are not them the same thing by you? It is not for me, was answering the blind, that I am bring this light. It is to the end that the giddy switch seem to you do not come to run against me and make to break my jar. So yes, you've got to know you will be the hit of the party with that merry little anecdote. And that's just the beginning. There's a whole book full of this stuff, and every one is better than the last. It's just amazing. And someone had mentioned that I have to be concerned about copyright violations. Well, this was originally copywritten in 1855 in France, and I do not believe that these good gentlemen renewed the copyright. This fell into the public domain a long time ago and was simply saved by the interest of a few curious people who found it entertaining. So that's the only reason we have it today. I cannot imagine it sold very many copies in its day. And considering the fact that we have no great stories of mass lynchings of Portuguese people in the United States or England in 1855, I have to say not very many copies were sold, because sadly, if you walked around saying some of those things that this book advised you to say, you almost surely would have been lynched, or at least tarred and feathered and driven out of town. So we will go back to this later, because this is a fun little book. Now let's talk about the tidbit trays and the shipping. So I want to start with the clock. We have a winner for the clock and both of our little teacup caddies. So we're going to start, because we need to pack these up. So we're going to start with this. Perhaps you've noticed I have a little roll of bubble wrap on the clock. Now, the first thing I did was I took the battery out of the back because you don't want those hands, dancing around while it's packed up. And then I took a piece of bubble wrap. This was cut off a 12 by 12 square, so it's about 3 inches by 12 inches, and I am just rolling it up. This is one of those things, pretend you're at a frat party in '69. You get the message. Tape it together, and then with a little piece of regular double stick tape, not that double stick foam tape that I suggested using to affix the clock numbers, because then it'll never come up again. Just put a little double stick tape and put it right here. So you see I have my bubble wrap on either side of the hands. The reason I'm doing that is so that when I wrap this clock, here's the rest of that single 12-inch by 12-inch sheet of bubble wrap. Just going to wrap this around. I don't want the bubble wrap crushing the clock hands. So that's what those little rolls of bubble wrap are for. And now we've got this. So our clock is fairly well protected. The next thing we're going to do is just wrap it carefully in some bubble wrap. Well, actually, we're not going to be all that careful. I mean, this is not brain surgery. We are wrapping a clock. Now, I've told you before, I'm very, I am very parsimonious with my tape. One of our viewers had suggested that as one of the word for the day entries. And that is our word of the day, parsimony. Now, parsimony means thrifty and frugal. That's all it means. Originally, it was never an emotionally charged word. In fact, scientifically, there is something called a parsimony theory, which holds, in effect, that the simplest, least complicated, the most frugal, in other words, explanation. It's parsimony theory. For example, that bad cat over there chases mice. He does it because he's hungry. Parsimony theory. In this case, it's not true. He is not hungry. He chases mice because he's a bad boy and likes to do it. But it was originally a very neutral word. But later it took on connotations of miserliness, stinginess. In other words, not thrift or frugal, but just meanness, And so that's unfortunate. But I do like the word parsimony. It's from the Latin, and it's parsimonia, which means thrift. It's a direct Latin borrowing. And it's a good word. So let's throw that into our working vocabulary. After all, we are thrifters, therefore we are inherently parsimonious. Large bubble wrap. Whenever I wrap something, I like to throw a nice chunk of fat bubble wrap, sometimes 2. I think this is going to be one of those times, into the bottom of the box, just to pad it out a little. So here's our box. This is 8 by 8 by 5. 8 by 8 by 5. Dropping my little clock in here. And I'm going to fill in the gaps with air pillows. And then I'm going to do what I always do to make sure nothing is jiggling around in there. The clock was that simple. Now, a piece like this could very easily go into that box without breaking it down. Here's another one. This is a regional rate A box. Again, just take a look. You can just pop that in. Plenty of room, but in fact, that's not how we are going to do this. We're going to take it apart, cup and saucer. Got a little baggie here that's holding our hardware. And remember to include everything they are going to need. The screws, the washers, the hardware. And then all we have to do is simply wrap this up as we would wrap anything. This box is 6 by 6 by 6, which is ample for this. In fact, I think that we could do this in a 6 by 6 by 4 box. And I'm going to go grab one of those. Actually, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to go grab one of those and see if we could. Because if we can get it in a smaller box, we can save you money on shipping. So hang on. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I should have been more prepared. This is a 6 by 4 by 4 box. And I'll just close this up. As you can see, there's going to be no difficulty fitting these in here or fitting in the parts. That will save us money on shipping. In all likelihood, this is going to go out at 8 to 10 ounces, which is very nice. So what about these? Well, this piece I would not disassemble for shipping. And there are two reasons. Remember, this is our little half moon tidbit tray. First of all, this is high-fired Japanese porcelain. This stuff is like glass. I'm not really sure I would be all that comfortable with one of my buyers playing around with this, you know, taking it apart, putting it back together. On here. Little something personal. Can you see the difference between these two thumbs? Perhaps you've noticed this one is a little skinnier than this one. I put this hand through a door 50 years ago, glass door, shaved a nice chunk off my thumb. Oh, that was not pleasant. Glass can really, really do a number on you. And I tell you, I treat it with respect from now on. So, thing like this, I don't know how comfortable I would be expecting the average eBay or Etsy buyer to be playing around with it. This is something, I'll ship it out like this. And another reason, too, is, believe it or not, it's very hard to line these little dishes up. But if we take a look at this, this is a priority mail shoebox, and as you can see, the fit is perfect. So, plenty of room to wrap that all up in bubble wrap, drop it in, fluff it out with some air pillows, shake it, see if we hear anything rattling, and that's always my test. I'll shake it. Do I hear it rattling? Do I feel it moving? Good. So, we go on to some pieces like this. Now, we had announced a winner on this tidbit tray a while ago, but I haven't heard from her. However, I pulled her comments, and she is a frequent visitor to our videos, and so I'm going to give her a little more time on the theory that, you know, we never know what's going on in people's lives. She could have a very good reason for not getting in touch, and we're just going to give her a little bit more time. Something like this, of course, what we're going to want to do is disassemble it. Take it down to its individual parts, like we have with this set, and then ship it out to the customer. But you are saying, Sue, what are we going to do about giving them instructions on putting this back together? Because, yeah, I've been having so much fun with, our English as she is spoke, which started off with a bad set of instructions. Remember, that's how I got off on this when I read those Chinese instructions on the Dremel bit. Yeah, so that is an issue. So how about we just do a very quick video within a video. Now, let me just get myself together here as we're starting to. All right. Now, I'm going to need a big smile, a little bit of time so that we can move into this and we can edit this out. Welcome to our Tidbit Tray assembly and disassembly instruction video. You may have just purchased a tidbit tray like this, or perhaps something a little smaller like this, and it may have come disassembled for shipping, or you may have had your tray for a while and you would just like to know how to break it down for storage or for cleaning. That's what we're going to show you right now, how to take it apart and how to put it together. So let's start with this. And we're going to take a look at the component parts of our tray. This is our handle. This is one little plastic washer. This is another little plastic washer. This is important because you want a plastic washer on every porcelain side of your tray. This one has a screw in the bottom and again a little plastic washer on the top and another on the bottom. So when you get this tidbit tray and it's all disassembled, the first thing you're going to do is take your screw. This is, we're starting from the bottom, working our way up. Here is your screw, and you're going to pop your plastic washer on top of that and pop it in your hole. Then you're going to take another plastic washer and you're going to put it in on top. Remember, plastic washers on every porcelain surface. Then we're going to take our little extension. We're going to twist it in. As you can see, no tools required. And then a plastic washer on top. We put our little teacup on that, a plastic washer over the screw on the upper side. Here is our handle, and we're just going to screw this in. And it's just that easy. All done. Now, it in fact might be a larger tray. This is a 3-tier tray. When it is a larger tray, you will get your hardware in your little baggie. Take it all out. And we have one additional piece. That is our little metal washer. This is a very small piece. It does not require a metal washer. So here is our screw. Here is our metal washer. We put that on. We add our plastic washer. This is the first one. We put it on our bottom plate. Our bottom plate is always going to be the larger of our plates. We got our plastic washer on top, and we have our little extension. Again, no need for tools. We hand tighten, and we don't want tools in any case because we don't want to over tighten. If we over tighten, we might crack our porcelain. Here's the medium plate. Remember, we've got our extension, we've got our plastic washer. because the plastic washer goes on either side of our porcelain plate. So we've got another one. We're popping it on. Here is our second extension, because we will have 2 extensions plus the handle, because this is a 3-tier tray. And again, finger tight. We don't want this over tightened. Plastic washer again. Vinyl plate, in this case it's a saucer. Another plastic washer. Done. Okay, that is how to assemble your tidbit tray. Now, we fade in, because I am going to take that little excerpt from this video, and I think it was, 5 or 6 minutes, and I'm going to post it to YouTube separately. I'm leaving it in this video, but I'm posting it separately to YouTube, so that if you want to sell your tidbit trays and you want to ship them out disassembled and have your customer reassemble it themselves, you will be able to refer them to that video. It'll just be a few minutes long, and they will see how to assemble a 3-tier or 2-tier tray. So, good luck. And frankly, a picture's worth 1,000 words any day. So now you've got your instructions. Your instructions will be on YouTube. You're good to go. Now, this one, which I needed to assemble this in any case. Remember, Jocelyn got her tidbit tray. That was my gift to her, because the plates were her gift to me. It was my gift to her for congratulations on 100,000 YouTube subscribers. So I've invited the viewers of Crazy Lamp Lady to come on over and enter this contest, as well as the SueMe viewers. So she's got hers. If you want her tidbit tray, and this is the exact twin of hers, we are just running that contest this week. It's going to be a random drawing. The rules are going to be contained in the notes below the video. It is open to all residents of planet Earth over the age of 18. All of our contests and giveaways are available to, again, all residents of planet Earth over the age of 18. Yes, I discriminate against Martians and children. I'm so mean. But I want them to be available to everyone. And I may not be able to send the exact prize to some countries. That's not my call. That's probably going to be the call of whatever country you live in. But I will send a comparable gift, probably something digital that they'll have a hard time locating and taxing, maybe an Amazon gift card, something like that. But if you win, and like I said, it's going to be a random drawing, if you win, you will win. It's not as if, if I can't send you the tray, you just have to go away unhappy. No, you'll win something, because we have international viewers. And, hey, one world, one people. Let's see if we can't tear down the boundaries instead of building them up. Now, I have something else I want to show you before we finish off with our tidbit trays. Remember this little lusterware teapot? Well, I drilled it through, secured the top with a little nut. Now, where did I got the little nut from my little stash of nuts, which are kept in a box, so it's not hoarding. It's very close to hoarding, I will agree with that, because, geez, I've had some of those for a very long time and never used them. But when I want nuts, bolts, washers, whatever, I go into that little box and fish something out. And as it happened, I had something in the correct size. I believe this is 3/8 of an inch, but when you get your tidbit hardware, if you want to do something like this, just go to your local hardware store and have the threads measured. And this was just a standard nut that I happened to pull out of my box, which is working perfectly. This is going to be part of a tidbit tray, no question about it. I really do love this little piece, and I really want to see it go to use. So I've already got something in mind for this. I just need to start collecting the pieces. Now, winners, we have Patricia Medlin on the clock. She is a frequent commenter on our channel, so I am hoping she will be quick to claim her prize because, Patricia, your clock is all packed up and ready to go, as you have seen. And Lisa Davis and Beatrice Thomas are the winners of the two little tea caddy sets. So, Lisa, Beatrice, get in touch. I'm going to list the names in the notes below the video, so just get in touch. We'll get this out to you. And please do get in touch because I will hold your prizes for a reasonable period of time, at least 2 to 3 weeks. But, you know, when so many people have entered the contest and so many people want the prize, you know that if you don't collect it, I'm just going to have to pass it on to someone else. All right. Thank you so very much for joining me, and keep an eye out for that little 5-minute tidbit tray assembly video. When you spot the video, you just take the URL on that video and you can add it to your eBay listings. You can send it to your customers separately. However you want to handle this, it's up to you, but you will have assembly instructions available for everyone. And I pride myself on my ability to explain things to just about anybody, so let's hope it's sufficient. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow I have a little bit of a different sort of video. We have 2 issues that people are bringing up that I want to talk about, and one of them is appraisals, because I get a lot of questions about appraisals, and I think it's about time we discussed appraisals, how to get them, where to go for them, and do you really, really need them? Because a good appraisal is expensive. And the other point that I want to discuss is the impact of resellers on the thrift store, low-income charity shop store venues. You know, as resellers, are we helping them or are we hurting them? And I have some decided opinions on this. So stick around. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. And in the meantime, have a fantastic day. Remember, parsimonious. And remember, our dear, dear Portuguese friends have so much more to offer us. So we'll see you later.